Zelensky is on his way to Switzerland to give his peace proposal, and his peace proposal is pretty much the same damn thing that guy's been pushing for a long time now, and that is Russia, just give up all the territory that you took from us, give up Zaporizhia, Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, Crimea, just give us back everything and go back home with nothing. And this is not a practical peace proposal. It is not viable because in order for a negotiation to work, both sides need to gain something. And Zelensky is telling the Russians that if you want peace, you gain nothing. And that is just not practical. Russia is the country that is in the advantage here, and Ukraine is at a disadvantage, especially with their failed counteroffensive. And so why in the hell would Russia just give up everything because you say so? It just doesn't make any sense. What is going to happen is that Ukraine is going to cede territory to the Russians. And then what will happen at that point is a far-right surge in the politics of Ukraine. The far-right is already very popular in Ukraine. Groups like Azov and Right Sector are very popular. Far-right politics is in the roots of Ukrainian politics. It is in the roots of Ukrainian nationalism, because look at Ukraine's national heroes. What do you see? You see a lot of Nazi collaborators. A lot of Nazi collaborators. So if you have a far-right surge in Ukraine, that means a surge in Ukrainian neo-Nazism. And that was seen already 10 years ago. Yes, 10 years ago. It was that long ago, even though it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. It was. A decade ago, you had a neo-Nazi dominated, neo-Nazi-led coup in the Euromaidan. And that is what toppled the more sympathetic to Russia government at that time. And if you have Ukraine ceding territory to the Russians, well, that's going to be perfect propaganda fodder for the far right in that country. And far right nationalism and politics will be intensified by such a dramatic event such as giving up territory to the Russians. And you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of what happened after World War I. Germany lost a whole bunch of territory to Poland, France, Czechoslovakia, Belgium, and then Hitler popped up and said, I'm going to regain all of those territories for the fatherland, for Deutschland. And then Germany invaded its neighbors. So if Ukraine cedes territory to the Russians, and I believe that it will lead to an intensification of far-right politics in that country. And it wouldn't be surprising. It won't be surprising because it'll only be a part of the phenomenon that we have been seeing to a great extent since 2014. Around 10 years ago, we saw the rise of politicians like Shinzo Abe in Japan, Shinzo Abe and his ilk, and nationalism is still very popular in the cultural groundswell of Japan. We saw the rise of Narendra Modi in India, and nationalism is still very strong in that country. And we have seen the rise of far-right parties in Europe. Parties like the Vox Party in Spain, which is now one of the biggest parties in that country. The AfD in Germany is now dominating entire regions in Germany. Regions like Thuringia, Saxony, Brandenburg. The AfD is growing in huge numbers. And right now, the AfD is in the double digits of percentages when it comes to popularity. It's huge. In some areas, I think the AfD is at 30% of popularity, 30% of the vote. So you have far-right nationalism becoming mainstream in countries like Germany. And given the history of Germany, none of us should be comfortable with nationalism becoming popular in Germany. And it's amazing to see conservatives in the Western world, in America, getting excited about nationalism becoming trendy in Germany. And it makes me think, it makes me wonder, you guys have heard the history. You guys have seen the films. You've seen Saving Private Ryan. You've seen Schindler's List. Some of you have seen films like The Pianist or Come and See. Great films on the destructive nature of German nationalism. And we were all told about the Holocaust. We all saw documentaries about Hitler and the Third Reich and the Holocaust growing up. And here we are, and we have people getting giddy over nationalism, getting popular in Germany. And it's just scary to see that. It's scary to see that people are happy about this. And none of us should be comfortable with this. And for the life of me, I cannot see why anybody would trust Germany. I can't see why anybody would trust Ukraine. And Ukraine has a very strong history of nationalism. It has a history of Nazi collaboration. Look at the current day national heroes, or the national heroes in the nationalism of Ukraine. You will see Nazi collaborators. You will see Stepan Bandera. You will see Roman Shukhevich. You will see Andrei Melnik. You will see the OUN, the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists. All Nazi collaborationist figures. And they are heroes. They are considered to be heroes in Ukrainian culture, Ukrainian society today, especially in the western half of Ukraine. And here we are. We have people getting excited about Ukraine fighting the Russians. We have people getting excited about Ukrainian nationalism. And if Ukraine cedes territory to the Russians, and I believe that they will, it will lead to an intensification and a surge in right-wing politics in that country, and that means Nazism. That's what that means. Because if you look at the national heroes of that country, what do you see? You see Nazi collaborators. So a far-right surge in Ukraine means Nazism. That's what that means. Nationalism is coming back. Fascism, ultranationalism, Nazism are all making a comeback, and that should all worry us. But it's not, because if there's one thing that we can learn from history, it's that people do not learn from history. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.